The title sounds like one of those suspiciously confident promises the internet loves, like, drink this green liquid and suddenly understand taxes. But instead of magic tricks or fake hacks, this is about small psychological shifts that quietly make you sharper than most people around you. No genius IQ required, no expensive courses, just understanding how your brain and everyone else's keeps accidentally sabotaging itself. Let's get right into it. Number 10. Confidence illusion. Some people walk into a room like they own the building, the company, and possibly the planet. They speak loudly, don't hesitate, and somehow convince everyone they know what they're doing. Plot twist, they often don't. Your brain is weirdly wired to equate confidence with competence. It's like seeing someone hold a microphone and immediately assuming they can sing, even if they sound like a dying vacuum cleaner. This is called the confidence heuristic. Basically, your mind taking a shortcut because thinking deeply is exhausting. Meanwhile, actually smart people tend to hesitate. They second guess. They consider alternatives, which ironically makes them look less impressive. Next to Captain Overconfidence, who just said trust me 3 times in AR0W.SO. Here's the trick, don't fall for volume over value. When someone sounds certain, your job isn't to be impressed, it's to quietly ask, do they actually know anything? Or are they just loud? Once you stop automatically trusting confidence, you immediately outsmart a huge chunk of people who never question it. Basically, your brain has been hiring the loudest guy in the room. As CEO, maybe stop doing that. Number 9. The fake memory factory. Think back to your childhood. That one vivid memory you swear is 100% accurate, crystal clear, emotionally charged, feels real, right? Yeah, your brain probably made half of it up. Memory isn't a recording. It's more like a chaotic group chat where details get edited every time you revisit them. Each recall slightly rewrites the story, mixing facts with imagination, suggestions, and whatever mood you're in. That's why two people can experience the same event and later argue like it was two completely different movies. And here's where you get ahead. Most people treat their memories like evidence in court. I remember it, so it must be true. But smarter thinking means treating memory like a sketch, not a photograph. Next time you feel absolutely certain about something you remember, pause, question it, consider what might be missing or distorted. Because the uncomfortable truth is, your brain is less historian and more creative writer with confidence issues. Understanding that puts you ahead of people confidently arguing over events that never even happened the way they think. Basically, your past is being edited by a narrator who lies for dramatic effect. Number 8. The effort trap. Imagine two people solving a problem. One spends hours grinding through it, sweating, stressing, maybe questioning their life choices. The other pauses, thinks for a bit, and solves it faster with less effort. Who looks smarter? Your instinct says the second one. But here's the twist. Most people trust the first one more. Humans have this odd bias, where effort feels like proof of value. If something looks hard, we assume it must be important. If someone struggles visibly, we assume they're working deeply. But effort and effectiveness are not the same thing. Sometimes, effort just means you're doing it inefficiently. Smart thinking isn't about doing more mental push-ups. It's about asking better questions, spotting patterns, and knowing when to stop overcomplicating things. So instead of admiring effort blindly, start noticing outcomes. Did it work? Was it efficient? Or was it just a very dramatic struggle session? Once you detach effort from intelligence, you stop being impressed by people who are essentially just busy. Basically, not all hard work is smart work. Sometimes it's just your brain running on a treadmill, going nowhere fast. Number 7. The spotlight lie. Here's a fun illusion. Right now, your brain thinks everyone is paying attention to you. They're not. Walk into a room, trip slightly, say something awkward, or wear something slightly weird, and your mind instantly goes, congratulations, you are now the main character of everyone's thoughts. In reality, everyone else is too busy worrying about their own imaginary spotlight. This is called the spotlight effect. Your brain massively overestimates how much people notice and remember your actions. It's like thinking you're being filmed 24/7, when in reality everyone else is just staring at their own mental screens. And this matters because it controls behavior. People stay quiet, avoid risks, and overthink everything, not because they're incapable, but because they think they're constantly being judged. Once you realize nobody cares nearly as much as you, think something weird happens. You get smarter with your decisions. You take better risks. You stop wasting energy managing imaginary opinions. Because the truth is, most people forgot your embarrassing moment before it even finished happening. Basically, your audience doesn't exist, but your brain keeps selling tickets anyway. Number 6. The question advantage. Somewhere along the way, people decided that sounding smart means having answers. Quick ones, confident ones, preferably delivered without blinking. But here's the quiet upgrade most people miss. Smart people don't win by answering. They win by asking better questions. Imagine someone explaining something complicated. Most people nod along, maybe throw in a yeah, that makes sense, even when it absolutely does not make sense. Why? Because asking questions feels like admitting you don't understand. But the person asking sharp, slightly uncomfortable questions, they're the one actually controlling the conversation. Questions expose weak logic. They reveal assumptions. They force clarity. It's like turning on the lights in a room where everyone was pretending to see fine. In the dark, instead of trying to sound impressive, try asking things like, why does that work? Or what happens if that assumption is wrong? Suddenly you're not just participating, you're steering. Most people avoid questions because they fear looking dumb. Ironically, that's exactly what keeps them stuck there. Basically, the smartest person in the room isn't the one talking the most, it's the one quietly dismantling confusion. Number 5. The pattern addiction. Your brain loves patterns. It craves them. It hunts for them, like a detective who's had way too much coffee. See, two things happen together. Once, coincidence. Twice, interesting. 3 times, your brain is already building a conspiracy documentary. This is why people think lucky socks were, or that one weird routine guarantees success. Your mind connects dots, whether they belong together or not, because randomness feels uncomfortable. The problem is false patterns lead to confident, but completely wrong conclusions. Smart thinking means slowing down that instinct. Just because two things happen together doesn't mean one caused the other. Sometimes, life is just chaotic and refuses to follow your neat little storyline.so. The next time something always happens, pause and ask, is this a real pattern? Or is my brain just bored and making connections for entertainment? Because once you stop blindly trusting patterns, you stop falling for bad logic, superstition, and those people who say things like, this worked for me once, so it's a universal rule. Basically, your brain is trying to turn randomness into a Netflix series, and not all episodes are based on reality. Number 4. The emotional hijack. Ever tried to make a calm, rational decision while you're angry, stressed, or hungry? Yeah, that went well. Here's the thing. Your brain doesn't separate emotion and logic the way you think it does. When emotions spike, they don't politely sit in the corner. They grab the steering wheel and start driving like they've never seen a speed limit. This is called emotional hijacking. Your rational thinking takes a back seat while your emotional brain goes, I've got this, which is exactly what you don't want to hear. And the worst part, it feels right. In the moment, your decisions seem justified, obvious, even brilliant. Until later, when you look back and wonder who that person was. Outsmarting most people here is surprisingly simple. Don't trust decisions made in emotional spikes. Delay them. Pause. Let your brain cool down like an overheated laptop. Because clarity doesn't show up when you're overwhelmed. It shows up after most people react. Smarter people wait. Basically, your brain is great at thinking, just not when it's busy having a meltdown. Number 3. The default thinking trap. Most of your decisions aren't actually decisions. They're defaults. You wake up, check your phone, follow routines, believe certain things, react in predictable ways, and it all feels like you. But a lot of it is just autopilot built from habits, environment, and whatever your brain finds easiest. Your brain loves easy. It will reuse the same thoughts, beliefs, and reactions over and over, because thinking from scratch is expensive. That's why people stick to opinions they've never questioned, routines they've never evaluated, and assumptions they didn't even choose. Here's where you get ahead. Start interrupting the defaults. Ask yourself, why do I think this? Or is this actually true? Or just familiar? That tiny pause forces your brain out of autopilot and into actual thinking mode. Most people never do this. They just run the program. But once you start questioning defaults, you begin seeing options other people don't even realize exist. Basically, a huge percentage of human behavior is just recycled thinking, and you don't have to subscribe to the same playlist. Number 2. The simplicity blindness. Imagine someone explaining something in a complicated way, big words, long sentences, diagrams that look like they were designed. During a caffeine crisis, your brain goes, wow, that must be smart. Now imagine someone explaining the same thing simply, clean, clear, almost easy to understand. Your brain goes, that feels basic. And just like that, you've fallen into one of the most common traps, confusing complexity with intelligence. In reality, simplicity is much harder to achieve. It means someone actually understands the idea deeply enough to strip away the unnecessary parts. It's like packing for a trip and only bringing what you truly need, instead of dragging your entire house with you. But most people are impressed by complexity because it feels advanced, even when it's just messy thinking, dressed up in fancy language. Here's your advantage. When something sounds complicated, don't assume it's smart. Ask yourself, can this be explained more simply? If the answer is no, there's a good chance the person explaining it doesn't fully understand it either. Because real understanding doesn't hide behind confusion. It removes it. Basically, if someone needs 10 minutes to explain something simple, they're not a genius, they're lost with confidence. Number 1. The thinking about thinking trick is the final upgrade. The one that quietly separates you from almost everyone else. Most people think. Very few people think about how they think. That sounds like a weird tongue twister, but it's everything. This is called metacognition, your ability to step outside your own thoughts and observe them like a slightly concerned scientist watching a chaotic experiment. Instead of just reacting, you notice patterns, you catch biases, you realize, oh, I'm only agreeing with this because it sounds familiar, or I'm rejecting this because I don't like it, not because it's wrong. It's like unlocking a second layer of awareness, where your brain is no longer just playing the game, it's analyzing the rules. And here's the wild part. Once you start doing this, you can't really go back. You begin catching your own mental shortcuts. In real time, most people never develop this habit. They trust every thought like it's a verified fact. But you start questioning the source, the logic, the emotion behind it. Basically, instead of being controlled by your thoughts,